Okay, so now we're going to look at solving absolute value equations. So let's give an example. Let's say you have the absolute value of x equals 6. Well, x could be 6, right? But x could also be negative 6. So you have to consider both the positive case and the negative case when we're doing these, okay? Now I'm going to put something in real quick just so we can talk about it. What if you had the absolute value of x equals negative 3? Okay, this isn't going to work. No solution, because you can't take the absolute value of 3 and get negative 3. You can't take the absolute value of negative 3 and get 3. So when you take the absolute value, it's going to be positive. So be careful if they have, if they throw something like that in, you have to kind of catch that with your eye. Oh, an absolute value can't be equal to a negative number. Okay, so don't let that scare you though. All right, so now I promised the steps. What you're going to do when they give you an absolute value equation is you're going to isolate the absolute value. I'll write it out. Absolute value part. So say you have something like 10 times the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 120. The first thing you'd have to do is divide by 10, because you want to get that absolute value part by itself. Okay? I'll show you some examples when we go to do these. Second, you're going to form two equations. So I'll continue with my example here. You would have the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 12. So your two equations are going to come from, let me move this up a little bit. You take what's inside the absolute value, x plus 7 equals, and I usually write the negative one first, or x plus 7 equals positive 12. Kind of ran out of room there. But that's what you're doing. You're separating, you're taking the absolute value part, the part that's inside the absolute value, take it out, and you're going to set one to the positive and one to the negative. Okay? Then last, you have to solve the two equations. All right. So, here I'd subtract 7 from both sides. I get x equals negative 19. On the other one, I get x equals 5. And so I get two answers. I might write them in the set notation as negative 19 and 5 as the solution set. So I'd write something like that. Sometimes books will just say, oh, x equals negative 19 and x equals 5. Now you might be thinking, oh, am I always going to get two answers? Not always. You could have something like the absolute value of x plus 8 equals 0. See, and then when you go to make two equations, they're going to be the same equation, because 0 is 0. You don't have a positive 0 and a negative 0. So in that case, you're only going to get one answer, but that's kind of the exception. All right.